Welcome back to Harmonize Your Life, Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Toni G. Alvarado. We are still in the month of October and we are celebrating this month. We are celebrating cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors, of all types of cancers that have affected our community, our families, and our world. And so this month, we are not going to just focus on breast cancer survivors as our custom has been in the month of October, but we want to educate, we want to inform our community about all types of cancers that are impacting us and cancers that have impacted us personally and in our families and communities. And so we're bringing to you this month information, education, inspiration, hope, and support for you, for your family members, for our community. And hopefully one day we'll be able to eradicate this dreadful disease and the many forms of cancer that has impacted our lives. Stay tuned for another empowering conversation on self-care and celebration of cancer survivors in just one moment. Well, I'm super excited today because I have in the podcast studio with me my sister, my blood sister, my sister. We are almost twins.
Yeah.
because we are probably about, a little over a year apart?
Just a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, a year and a half. We're a year and a half apart. And so I'm 58. She'll be 57 in a few weeks, in a few months.
Yep.
And this is my sister Inez, better known AKA as Nisi. Inez Denise Griffin-Manuel.
That's right.
My younger sister, she's right under me. Those of you that know me know I'm the oldest of four girls born to our parents, Charles and Margaret Griffin Baker. My mom is who just went home to be with the Lord. Some of y'all know her as Ma Baker, but it's four of us. I'm the oldest. Nisi or Inez is the second oldest, and then our sister Cassandra, and then our baby sister Yolanda, who is a force to be reckoned with in and of herself. And y'all heard from Yolanda on our podcast as well. I'm going to have to get Cassandra on the podcast, Nisi.
Yeah.
Because you've been on, and I mean, you're on today, and Yolanda's was on. She was on twice last year. I had her on in the first year of the podcast twice. In May last year, she did a session on grief, talking about her journey with Raven during our Mother's Day series, and she gave hope to mothers who had lost a child. And then back in November of last year, I had her come on again with Dr. Sarah Williams, and we talked about just getting through the holidays with grief. And so, so those of you that are listening to us, you can go back, and all of our podcast episodes are cataloged there on Anchor and on my YouTube channel, so you can go back. But I'm glad today to have my sister Inez or Nisi in the podcast studio with me today. And we are today talking about surviving breast cancer. Yes. My sister Inez or Nisi is a breast cancer survivor. Yes. And we're grateful to the Lord for that. She is doing well. She is surviving, but she's not just surviving, y'all. She's thriving.
Yes, absolutely.
She is thriving. And so I asked her to come on, and she's not really a big talker. She's not one, that talks particularly publicly. I'm just gonna say that.
Right.
But so she's not a public speaker now. She's a singer though. She's a singer.
Yes.
And she loves choirs.
Oh my God. Yes.
She is.
Yes.
She is our church. She's the church choir mother.
Yes.
She is. All of us got something from our grandmother, right? And so Inez got that whole going to church thing, and what she really got, y'all, is she gonna go to funerals. She gonna go to funerals and all of that. That's what my grandmother made. My grandmother was gonna go to the funerals. Okay, right. You know, she gonna do that. She gonna make sure she represents the family at all the funerals. Okay. Right. But Inez, Nisi, thank you for coming on with us today to talk about surviving breast cancer. As I stated in my introductory comments into the podcast today, I wanted to expand the conversation because, of course, the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we do a lot around, historically, we've done a lot around breast cancer research, all kind of walks and runs and events raising money for breast cancer research. We've done all kind of events celebrating breast cancer survivors. And so this year, I wanted to expand the conversation because, as you know, we've been impacted by cancer, not just breast cancer, but in our family, because our mother didn't have breast cancer, but she had what would be categorized in head and neck cancer, the type of carcinoma that she suffered with. Then, of course, our grandmother had cervical cancer, and there's all types of cancers that people are impacted by. And so last week we had Tanya Phillips on to talk to us about just cancer in general, give us some stats around the cancers that impact us as communities of color, men, women, all types of things. Of course, we talked a little bit about breast cancer as well. But I specifically wanted you to come on today because I wanted to celebrate you as my sister and celebrate you as a breast cancer survivor and just talk about your journey with breast cancer. And I know that there's some things that you can share that will help a survivor or help someone who's dealing with breast cancer right now, who's living with breast cancer, someone who has survived it, and families who have had to support persons in their family who've been diagnosed with breast cancer. So talk to us about your journey with breast cancer. How many years have you been a survivor?
3 years.
Yay!
3 years.
So you're in your third year.
Yes.
Third year. When was your
going into my fourth year, actually.
You're going into your fourth year.
Next March of next year will be 4 years.
Wow.
Well, actually June of next year, because that's when I had my surgery.
Wow. Okay.
I was diagnosed in March of 2018.
And I tell you what, that don't even seem like, it seemed like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
That happened. And I remember where I was when you called me and told me.
Yes.
And it just kind of stopped me in my tracks. I was just kind of like, what? You know?
Yeah.
So how did you discover it?
So I actually found the tumor myself. So my ritual when I get up in the morning, when I'm getting dressed, I am brushing my teeth. And normally when I'm getting ready to get in the shower, but when I'm brushing my teeth, I usually, I don't know what the reason is, but I'll take my pajama top off. And so this particular day, I had never seen it ever. And so this particular day, when I was brushing my teeth, I looked in the mirror and I could see like my breast it looked deformed. It wasn't normal. It looked like it was lopsided. And I was like, what is this? And I began to feel my breast and I said, oh my God, I think this is a lump in my breast. And so I just it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I got off, I called Mom, and told her that I think, I found a lump in my breast, and, I was really freaking out. And she told me that it may not be cancer because in our family, we have a history of cystic breast.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, just, see if this could be a cyst. So I called to make an appointment to have a mammogram done.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me that they didn't have any appointments until, I think probably, this was in March, so I don't think they had any appointments until like May or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, no, I said, I don't think you heard what I said. I mean, this is not, I found a lump in my breast and I cannot wait until until May to get this looked at. I need this looked at right away. And I said, I don't know who you need to talk to, but I need to get in to see somebody. So they got me in the next week, and I had my mammogram done.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did an ultrasound, and the radiologist wanted me to go have a biopsy done because what he saw, he didn't tell me, but he was concerned about what he had seen. So the next week, I made an appointment to have a biopsy done.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to go have a biopsy done. And I think it probably was like maybe a week and a half before my results came back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called my doctor because he hadn't called me yet. And so I just asked him, did he get the results back? He said, yes, he did. And I asked him what the outcome was. And he said that, well, it is cancer. And I was like devastated. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And so, but he told me that that it is cancer, but it was caught at an early stage. So he was very hopeful that that he would be able to do the surgery and get all of the cancer out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then after we had to meet with a team of doctors. And so we all went. You went with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You and Roz and Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Me when we met on my team of doctors to tell me what my plan of care would be. And so we at that point they knew the stage of the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It was a stage 2. So it was even though it was a stage 2, it was still caught early because what I found out is that the cancers, the stages go in. So it may be like stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
At 1 or 2, it goes in. So it's not. It was a very low. So my doctor was very hopeful that he would be able to get the cancer.
Wow. So you said one of the things you said was when you heard the word cancer, you were devastated, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that we don't talk about sometimes when it comes to the whole cancer journey is the emotional or the mental strain that it has on persons. So,
right.
And I know you had because you're a woman of faith, first of all,
yes.
and being grounded in your faith. But did this shake your faith at all?
It didn't shake my faith. But I did question how this happened to me, because I had just had a mammogram maybe the year prior, not even a year. I think I had my mammogram
you're in the habit of getting your mammograms every year, right?
Yes.
So this happened between 1 year. You discovered the lump between
years. Between my annual. Yeah.
Between your annual. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it wasn't discovered through the mammogram. It wasn't discovered through the mammogram. Annual.
That's something that we need to point out, because I remember last year I did. I had Felicia, Felicia, make a big pride, and then we had Shermanita Carter on. Remember 1 year?
Yes. Yes.
Last year we had her on, and both of them discovered it themselves. So, would you say that that's important for us as women? Like you said, you noticed your breast, you looked in the mirror, you felt your breast. You know what I'm saying? Something didn't feel right, something didn't look right.
Right.
So how important is it for those self-examinations?
It's very important. Because like I said, the mammogram did not detect it. And so I think it's very important that we do our self-examinations at least once a month in between our mammograms. What they saw it on the ultrasound.
Okay. So it was the ultrasound that finally detected it. But you found it.
Yep, I found it.
But it was the ultrasound that detected what was really going on.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that leads me to another question. How important would you say to women it is to have the annual exam, even though the mammogram didn't pick it up? Do you still recommend women getting mammograms regularly?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we have to have them I get my mammograms every year. I mean, even though I don't have to have a mammogram, so I had a mastectomy on my left side because the tumor was too big to remove. So I had to have the mastectomy on my right side, but also
on your left or your right?
I'm sorry, on my left side.
Okay.
But after I had my surgery, we discovered, that through the PET scan. So after you had your surgery and everything, they do a PET scan where they put this dye in you, and it illuminates, and wherever cancer it is, it'll see it. So when I did my PET scan, they discovered that I had a tumor on my right breast. Now, that tumor wasn't as big, so I had to have a lumpectomy on my right breast. So I still do have to have a mammogram every year on my right breast.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Were there any other psychological things that you dealt with, like with losing a breast?
Yeah, it took me a long time to even look at it. It took me a long time. I didn't look at it probably about a couple months after I had my surgery. Yeah, it took me a long time to look at it, and it took me a long time to get used to because other things come along with it. Like I have what do you call it? Lymphedema on my left arm. So that's where they took the lymph nodes out. They took out 9 lymph nodes on my left side. And they do that to test to make sure that the cancer has not gone anywhere else in your body. So they test the lymph nodes to see if there's any cancer in the lymph nodes. And if it is, then you have to, what I had to do was have chemotherapy. But because they took the lymph nodes out, the lymph nodes is what moves the fluid in your body.
Right.
If you don't have the lymph nodes, then the fluid builds up in your body.
Okay.
So I have to wear a sleeve, a lymphedema sleeve. I wear it during the day, and then I have one that I wear at night, and that's to help push the fluid and make sure that I don't. Yes. So I still live with um,
The effects.
the effects of having breast cancer.
Wow.
Mhm.
So when you said it took you a minute to look at it, you know, it didn't destroy your faith, but you did ask questions like why.
Mhm.
What would you say to women about how to care for themselves emotionally while they're going through breast cancer?
I think I will say for me, um, I learned how to really care for myself. I started doing more exercising.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even like in the summer, especially particularly during COVID, I would get out and I would walk.
Mm-hmm.
I would try to walk about 5 miles, at least 5 days a week. I would try to walk. So I think keeping your emotions, I think that's very important. Um, and then the other thing that really, really helped me, um, I know some people, when they go through life's difficulties and trials, and especially when something like cancer,
Life
I
threatening.
know a lot of people pull away from God, but that was the time that I had to push. I had to push. I mean, I I remember um, Craig Robertson telling me one time. He said, when I see you up there singing, he said, he said that gives me so much hope because you have been through so much. But that was what brought me through. I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I had to
Wow.
do that.
Wow. 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 Well, then talk to us about the importance of having a community. I know I went with you. Mom was your champion.
Yes.
Mom was there with you when you rang the bell. She was
Yes.
at all your treatments and all of that. And then I was with you when me and Roz and I and Mom were with you when you started, when the doctor came for us to talk about your treatment plan and all of that.
Yes.
So talk to us about the importance of a community, having a solid community.
Yeah. So I think having a community is
A support system.
support system is so important. I tell people that God is the ultimate orchestrator,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that I would have been able to go through what I went through if I didn't have the support of mom and my sisters and my friends and my children. Um, because I wouldn't have never moved here. I mean, I've tried to move here a couple of times and it just didn't work.
Here in
So
Georgia, y'all, for those that y'all,
yes,
we're from Chicago. And so Inez was the last one of us to move from Chicago to Georgia.
yes, the absolute last. But I think that being here, and I didn't know, I just knew that it was time for me to leave Chicago. But I didn't know that years later that I was gonna need the support of mom and my sisters and my friends and my church family.
Yeah.
My church family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so important, and that's one of the reasons why we started this self-care network, is to make sure that we can have a community of women, that we can support one another around our health and wellness and fitness and self-care goals, our mental health and all of that, because having a community is so important. A community of faith, a family system, a girlfriend system.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And things like what we're doing with the self-care network, it is so important because you're gonna go through life struggles and life issues, but you don't have to go through them
by yourself.
Alone. You don't have to go through them alone. So it is important to have a good support team, a good team around you to help you with just, helping you to make it through the day.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to have cancer for that.
Right. Right.
So how did, Inez, how did you decide on, because there are women that are listening here who might be in that stage of deciding on treatment.
Mm-hmm.
How did you decide on the right treatment for you?
So when I met with my team of doctors, they told me that their recommendation, and it was my choice, but that I would have to have chemotherapy, and I will also have to have radiation therapy. I did the chemotherapy first, and then I did the radiation therapy. Now, I know some of the effects
of the chemotherapy, you lost your hair.
I did. I lost my hair, but one of the things, because I reached out to people like Felicia, Shamanita, people that had been through this, and the things that they told me. The one thing that they told me that was very important was that they told me their story, but they told me that might not be my story. They told me what they went through, the effects of the chemo and all of that. But the only thing that I know that that affected me with the chemo was I did lose my hair, and my sense of taste, even now, sometimes is funny. But I didn't get sick. I didn't have any, I didn't get nauseated like a lot of people. A lot of people said they didn't have an appetite, they couldn't eat, and they lost a lot of weight. That was not my story. I ate.
No, listen, you're the only person I know that gained weight. I was like, Inez, most people lose weight while they're going through chemotherapy. How do you gain weight while you're going through chemotherapy? Most people lose their appetite. Girl,
They do. And I did not lose my appetite.
And you going to Chicago getting you some good Chicago food.
Chicago food, right. But so I know, a lot of people deal with it. A lot of people like to deal with it holistically. Mm-hmm. And but for me, I prayed about it, and I felt like this was a way for me to live. I did not want to not do it and not have the opportunity to live a little while longer. Mm-hmm. So that was what helped me make the decision. I wanted to be here a little while longer.
Okay. And that's powerful. What lifestyle changes did you make as a result of going through breast cancer? Did you make any changes in your lifestyle?
Yes.
How did it change you?
Yes. So I learned a lot of stuff about, a lot of things that that not causes cancer, but could help help progress it. Mm-hmm. So some of the things that I learned, I did a little research, and so some stuff I do not use. I don't use regular deodorant anymore. Okay. I go to the health food store, and I get a deodorant that does not have aluminum in it. And so some people say they can't use it because it don't hold them. But one of the things that helps me is that when I had the radiation, I did a lot of my hair, like my hair up under my arms, because that's where they targeted at. So I don't grow hair up under my arms a lot at all. So the deodorant works for me. But I don't buy my deodorants in the store anymore. Because I think that's some of the that's how some people get the breast cancer. So I don't do that anymore. And then I also I drink alkaline water. I was told by Anthony Davis told me to drink alkaline water when he found out I had cancer, because he said alkaline and cancer can't live in the same body. So I researched it, and it does say that alkaline and cancer can't live in the same body. So I go to the health food store. I don't buy bottled water anymore. I go to the health food store and I buy 5-gallon things of water, and that's all I drink is alkaline water. The other thing that I do is I don't drink caffeinated coffee or drinks or anything like that, because caffeine is one of the contributive factors to cancer as well. So I don't drink. I do like coffee, so I drink decaf coffee. And every now and then, if I just feel like I need a push, but it's not very often, I make it a little. And even if I do get it, it'll be like I may get half caffeine and half decaf. But primarily, I do not drink caffeinated drinks anymore.
Okay. So these are things that you discovered will help the cancer progress.
Yes.
In your body.
Yeah.
And eliminating those things.
Yes.
Right? I heard you say earlier that you walked. And I know you were doing spin classes and things like that to really move your body.
Yes.
Because
Yeah. So, and then this year I bought me a bike.
Yeah.
So I bought me a bike. So I love riding my bike. So sometimes I just I like going to trails, but if I can't get to a trail, it's a school right down from my house. So I'll just sometimes just get on my bike and just ride down to the school and just ride around. And Yeah,
I love it. I love it. Wow. Inez, thank you so much for sharing your story with us on the podcast. What word of advice or hope or word of hope can you give a woman who is battling cancer right now? Any kind of cancer, breast cancer, or any kind of cancer. And even a word maybe to their family and community, based on what we went through with Mom. What kind of hope can you give families who are supporting someone with cancer? Because you've been supported and you've been a supporter.
Yes. One of the things that I would like to say is that cancer is, when you hear the word, you just immediately think I'm going to die. But one of the things that I discovered going through this, that we we want to see Jesus, but don't nobody want to die. That's our ultimate goal, is to see Jesus, but we don't want to die. But one of the things that I discovered is, if one of the scriptures that I really loved, to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Wow.
And cancer is scary. It's like, oh my God. And you think
it stops you in your tracks, just the word.
Yes, it does. And you think immediately, I'm gonna be out of here. And sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes it is. But I would say that just get you a good support system. I mean, that is so, so important to get you a good support system, somebody that is going to push you. And because it was days that even after I had my surgery, it was days that I just was in the house, like, you know, but get somebody that's going to push you, to not let you stay in your, because it can get, you can get in a state of depression.
Yeah.
But you gotta have somebody that'll bring you out of that. You gotta have some friends, somebody that will pull you out of that and not let you stay in that state.
Yeah. Because you don't have to die there.
Yes.
And breast cancer is not the death sentence that it used to be. We progressed in our
they've done so much research on breast cancer, and so it's not the death sentence that it used to be. It's not. It's and especially if it's caught early.
Early detection is the best cure. Yeah.
Early detection. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And would you say that not only the lifestyle in terms, I mean, getting a good community around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of hope. I mean, to push you.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I heard you saying, just kind of coming. I heard you kind of saying maybe coming to a sense of peace about whatever happens.
Yes. That's one of the things that, yes, you're going to have to come to just a sense of peace. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm not saying lay down and die.
No,
fight.
Right.
Fight. Don't just, but you have to come to a sense of peace. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And now you thriving, girl.
Yes.
You thriving. You done your hair fell out.
My hair fell out. All of it.
All of it.
Yes.
All of it. And then it grew back, and you were so beautiful. I wish I should have put a picture up here of you with your hair out with your hair when it first came out. It was good. But now look at all the hair you got.
Yeah.
Look at that. And
that's all you. Yeah.
And now you locking it.
Yes.
And smiling, still got that beautiful smile that you've always had all your life. And working and excelling on your job.
Yes.
Bought you a bike and just you've been traveling and everything. Yeah. Good, Lisa. Good, Inez. You're doing so good. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you.
I know this was huge for you because you ain't used to getting on in front of the camera and talking to people. But because when I asked you to come on, you were like, me? You want me to come on? Yes, I want you. I want my sister to tell her story. And you did a really good job. And I know that you all are being blessed by Inez and her testimony. Let me just give you a little bit of station identification. If you're just tuning in, you are tuning in to the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with Dr. Toni Alvarado. You can find this podcast on Anchor Podcast, Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Google, Spotify, and we're also on the lightatl.live internet radio station. So you can find us there as well. You can also, if you're listening to this podcast, you can also go to our YouTube channel. Go there, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because every week we upload a new video. Every week we upload a new podcast episode there, as well as on the other on Anchor and the other platforms. So go on to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe it, because I'm really trying to increase my YouTube subscribers. And the more that we increase our subscribers, the more these kind of conversations will come up in YouTube, and it'll get suggested for videos for people to watch. And we need this information out here in our community. So please go and like and subscribe to Dr. Toni G. Alvarado, my YouTube channel, and you'll see all the other podcast episodes that are archived there. Okay, so I also want to invite you. Inez talked about the importance of being a part of a good community, a healthy community, a community of wholeness. And so I want to invite you to join us in the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. I want you to join the Women's Self-Care Network. You can go to my website at drtonyalvarado.com and click the Self-Care Network, and you can get all the information there and how to join our self-care network. We have a whole network of women like Inez and myself, women from all around the country that are part of the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Network. We have professional women from every walk of life who are a part of this network. Many of them have been on our podcast and share with us in our network. Ladies, I want you to know it's the month of October and we are in the midst of a fitness challenge. You heard Inez talking about getting her bike, purchasing a bike, walking 5 miles, 5 days a week. Listen, it is important that you and I move our bodies, that we drink healthy water, and that we eat healthy and the like. And so we have a fitness challenge going on this month to help you kind of jumpstart you, help you work off some of that summer eating that you did and get you ready to go into the holidays a little bit more fit, so you don't go on and gain your holiday weight on top of your summer vacation weight. All right, so we can get rid of some of that before we get into the holidays. So join our fitness challenge there on my website. We started on October 1st, but we're going all the way through October 31st, so it's never too late to jump in there and get with us. We also got a sale going on our Harmony Fitness apparel, so go there to our website. 50% off on all of our fitness t-shirts and our fitness pants. You can go there and purchase your Harmony Fitness apparel there, and you can be cute while you're working out for the fitness challenge. All of that can be found on my website at drtonyalvarado.com. Thank you again, Inez, for coming on. Thank you for being my dialogue partner today. I appreciate you not only as my sister, but I appreciate you what the Lord has done in your life through your cancer journey. And so I do want them to know they can find you on Facebook at Inez Griffin-Manuel. You can follow her on IG at Inez Griffin-Manuel, or on Twitter at SilverFox364. You can see why she called herself Silver Fox when you're watching it, because we got this silver hair going on up in here. That's all right. Different girls got silver hair, and it's all right. Thank you again. Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate you being in our podcast conversation. We look forward to more conversations with you, and we pray that you will be healthy, spirit, soul, and body. We are continuing in this month as we celebrate breast cancer survivors and survivors of all type of cancers, whether you've had it or whether you've supported someone who've had cancer in your family, in your community, in your church. We've all been impacted by cancer, and so we want to bring more education around this disease and hopefully eradicate this disease in our community. We'll see you again next week on the Harmonize Your Life Conversations for Self-Care for Women of Color podcast with your host, Dr. Toni G. Alvarado. Hi, this is Dr. Toni Alvarado. I am so delighted about bringing the Harmonize Your Life podcast to you. Would you do me a favor? If you are enjoying this podcast, would you email me at hello@drtonyalvarado.com? I want to hear from you. I want your feedback. I want to know if there are any other topics that you are interested in as it relates to wellness, self-care, nutrition, or just overall bringing harmony into your life. Email me, contact me at hello@drtonyalvarado.com.